Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. It's Wendy here from Little Nest Crafts. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you to all my regular subscribers. It's great that you're here, and if you are new, I hope that you like what you see and that you'll like and subscribe to my channel. Now today's project is called the Envelope Project 2025, and you'll find it under the hashtag. It says hashtag the Envelope Project 25, and it's hosted by Natalie from Line.Arrow and Tracie of Tracie Fox Creative over on Facebook. And I saw them advertising this yesterday, so I'm a bit late coming to the party because we are now on the 10th. So it's been running for since the 7th, so it's been running for 3 days. So I've been trying to catch up and watch some of these great creators to see what they've been producing, and there's been some lovely envelopes and I quite fancied having a go. So Tracie and Natalie have kindly given us some freebies, and so you don't need to have your own envelopes or anything to participate in this group. It's an open group. When I was listening to Tracie, she says there's an open group, anybody can join in, and they're encouraging you to post what you make on their Facebook pages, over on Natalie's page and Tracie's page. And yeah, I quite fancied having a go. So you can either download both of their freebie kits, and they're available from their websites, their Ko-fi pages, and their Facebook group pages. And I'll put all the details in the links below this, in my information box below this video, so that if you fancy participating, you can find their links from there. And but they did say you don't have to use their freebies, you can use envelopes of your own choosing. So what I've done, I quite fancied their but like both of the kits that they've produced, both Natalie's and Tracie's. They're a nice vintage grungy theme, and one's sort of an airmail envelope and one's plain, and they've got these backgrounds. So I think I'm going to use those, but I did actually go through my stash, and I found some old envelopes, you know, of my own, and some postcards and things of my own, and there's lots and lots. As you can see, I've been busy cutting out all the fussy cuts, and I've added lots of things of my own as well. Some, I think that's out of my stash, and there's a few tags and things in there. So I'll put those to one side, and we can dibble in and out those. And then I've been fussy cutting some butterflies and things that might complement the kit. There are florals in the kit here, along with the freebie, and there's some flowers here from some past projects that I've been doing recently, so I'll dip into those as well. And this is my stash. I've been busy last night cutting out more you know, things from obviously from the kit, but also I've got lots of labels and things here, so I did more fussy cutting, and there's some florals in here. So I'm going to dibble in and out of these as well. There's a mixture of French labels because I've been working on some French themed projects for Rachel and Bella Crafts collaboration, and yeah, so I'll be popping in and out this box as well. Now I haven't done a dummy run, so don't know exactly what I'm going to be producing, but we'll have a look and see. Now I did make a mistake here, but I wasn't going to cut it off because it'll alter my envelope, and I thought, well, it doesn't really matter because it's going to be on the inside. So I'm just going to score down the sides here, and I've printed this 2 to a page, so these envelopes are going to be smaller. Let's have a look. There we go. So that's rather nice. And then because that bit's going to be showing, I'll just pop some ink on it, and then it just looks part of the staining, really. There we go. Put some on there just in case that does show. Okay. So that's that one done. And this is the bottom. Oh, it wouldn't have mattered really, because that's the bottom of the envelope. So we'll just ink around the edge there. There we are. And then we'll do the same with this one. I've got the settings wrong on my printer, and it went to USA size paper print. So here we go. We'll fold that one, and we'll fold this one too. On this side. So let's have a look what we've got. What I'm going to do is just pop some glue on to keep them closed. And a bit on there. There we are. And we'll do the same with this one. There we go. And then we'll just ink around the edge a little bit. I'm just wondering what we can put on the front. Let's have a look at this one. May as well use this one as well. Excuse me. There we go. There we are. Now then, I'm going to glue this down. down here as well. Here we are. So you've got 3 envelopes there, and then we'll just score this, and it might be that we tuck this one in and cut along the top. Let's have a look. Notice to consignee, please open this envelope on the end, and if contents are not as represented, preserve the envelope. I can't remember where I got this from, but it's quite an interesting envelope there. Just wondering if that should have been scored a little bit more on the end here. Let's have a look. It was a bit ski-whiff. I don't suppose it would have mattered because it was only slightly off, but it was just, sometimes it's just you know, unpleasing for the eye. There we go, that's better. Right, so I'm just wondering how we're going to go about dressing some of these. I've got lots of ephemera to choose. That's a nice label. Some tags. These are from my stash. That was a cluster of envelopes. I've got a photograph there. These are from my stash. That's an envelope back out of my stash. And I printed off a front for it as well. Is that it? Yeah, it might have been that one. So we've got another envelope there. So yeah, we've got all sorts going on. So I liked Tracie's theme. She did a series of envelopes, and I quite like that idea. And it had sort of a theme running through it, where it was a couple who'd met, and because there's tickets and things in the kit, so they'd met and went to see a show, etc., etc. I think, and they've been on the train, and yeah, so they'd been to the fun fair and the theatre performance. dinner and dance tickets, look, restaurant. And this was the couple, so I did quite like that. I've added a few more tickets and things from my stash, and yeah, so let's have a look. Meet me at 7, that was something that they used as well. No, this was a ticket that was out of my stash, and it was a bill of landing near the railway station. And these were from my stash as well, because I thought that they might visit a nice garden and, you know, look at the plant specimens and things like that. So yeah, let's have a look and see what we're going to do. Right, so I've just had a bit of a play, and I've inked around the corners of that envelope there, and I'm going to put this one on the front. No, I don't know whether I want to put any lace along the bottom. So I've got this lace here, and just going to try and centralise it a bit. Pop it over there, and I think we'll pop it underneath. But first, I'm just going to just dampen it down a little bit with my dauber, just to make it look a bit more vintage. And then we'll get the 3-in-1, pop that along the bottom. Because these are sentimental keepsakes that she's kept to remember happy times. And then what I'm going to do, just for now, is I'm just going to go up the sides and leave the top open. And I picked this card because of the blue stamp, with the envelope having a blue surround. I thought it blended with the front of this envelope. I'm just wondering if that's too big, the lace. I might just lift it up a little bit and raise it up. Let's have a look. That's a bit better. And then we'll just trim the edge. There we go. So I'll let that dry a minute. And then we could have a secret compartment in there to pop something. And then just wondering what to put on the front. It could be another tuck spot, couldn't it? On the front there. But I think it's a bit big. Quite like that. And then that's quite nice too. So you could make that a little tuck spot there. Yeah, quite like that. So we'll go down the front like so. Maybe you could tuck it in. They're lovely, these pictures, aren't they? Yeah, I like that one. So what we'll do is pop a bit of glue on there. And I just need to ink that a little bit more there. Bit of glue on this edge. it on there like so. So I'll just pop a bit of glue underneath there. And then we'll glue this down. Oops. And excuse me. And then we can tuck something behind there, as long as I haven't glued it all down. There we go. So you've got a little tuck spot there. That's where they stayed, the Hotel Chatham in Paris. There we go. And then there's a little date there, March the 5th, 95. Yeah, we'll put that on as well, shall we? Although it's could be misconstrued. If there was an F room, I'd write 1895 on the front, but there we go. So there's our little envelope, and then the invoice will go in there of where they stayed in the hotel. And we've got, let's have a look, what can we put? Well, here's the hotel receipt. So we could have the Venus restaurant dinner and dance. And they could be stuck on the back, couldn't they? Or a little pocket to pop them in. Let's have a look. And then meet me at 7. Meet me at 7 for a theatre performance at 8. So, there we go. So here's our invoice. We've got a dinner and dance tickets tucked in there. Postage paid. Oh, let's have a look. I think what I'm going to do is pop maybe some of this on the back. Oh no, hang on. We've got some music page. Yeah, we'll pop that music page on the back of the invoice. Make like a little corner tuck. And then we've got our dinner and dance tickets. Which can go in there. And they came by special delivery. And then we want something to go on the front. Let's have a look. So I want to put something on there, I think. Let's have a look, see if we've got... As soon as I've had a romantic few days away, and I might just staple that on there. Yeah. There we are. And then that can be tucked behind there, and you just see the rose. Oh no, the rose is hidden till you pull it out. Now then, so I've got those tucked behind there, and I think I'm going to, I'd like to dangle something off there. Not sure. So where's the other envelope? Just clear the decks a little bit so I know what I'm doing. That one's there. Could do a wax seal or something on the back of there. Now we've got an invoice here with a check stub. Oops, a daisy. all these white bits. I think that can go on there. Staple, and then yeah, we could have that flower poking out a little bit. Just have a look, make sure there's not another one that's better. What's this one? That might look nice on there actually. Yeah, we'll put that one on there with a bit of tulle or something behind it, I think. Let's get my tweezers. Pop that down there. I've got a little label here which we'll pop on the front. There we go. And I still think it needs something up there. I don't know quite what yet. Maybe another little label at the top there. Sorry about that, everybody. My phone died, so I've just put it on charge for a little while, and I'll go back. I hadn't realised it had gone off, so I'm not sure where we left off, but behind the scenes, I think we were doing this. I was looking for something to fill there, so I just found that little label and I thought I'd stick it on, and it's they stayed in room 15, so they've kept the number of the room as a memento. There we go. Where's my tissue? Oops. There we go. So what we've got here is a bit of tulle, a label, a rose, and behind we've got a dinner and dance ticket and a restaurant ticket there with some music page, and I could do with something up on the top there. Let's have a look. Yeah, we'll just put a little number on the top no significance or anything, but it just hides a little bare space. And we'll pop that on there. There we go. So that's that. So we've got the envelope there. I'll just recap on that. Nothing in it at the moment, but we put the rose on the front there just simply with a staple, and that's the couple on there. So we've got that one. And then what I did is I stuck this postcard on the front of the airmail envelope, and that's all I've done to that for the minute. And then I went on to this photograph because I wanted something to go in the envelope here, and this envelope is out of my stash, and I've put a tag, and this was just a plain tag out of the kit, so that's from the bottom of the tag, and the excess I folded round, and I put one of the embellishments in out of the tag with an eyelet, and I've just put some garden twine in and wrapped it round and done a bow. And then on the back I've put the hearts and flowers label that was from the kit with a Parisian label out of my own stash. And then these two cards were the gardening cards, because I thought they'd go to you know, a garden centre, and they were looking at the plants. And these are the two tickets that they had to catch the from platform 1 to go to this garden area, the garden centre. And I'm just going to leave that like that, and that's going to go in my envelope like so. And I might get a little wax trim for there. That string doesn't lie very flat, they're not, unfortunately, but not to worry. So I'll just put that to one side as well, because I want to decorate the front of that with something. Oh, and yes, that's what I was going to do actually. I was going to put some tulle on the front. This is a little piece that was left over from there, and I thought I'd go near the stamp here. And scrunch it up a little bit, like so, and then put another one of the roses out of the kit on the top of there. Let's have a look. And I want to see some of the stamps, I don't want to hide it all together. So I'm going to put that there, and then maybe have a label. All right, let's have a look. Yeah. Like so. So we'll leave that to one side there for a second. And then what I also did was I've glued this front to the back, and I'm going to make this a hidden writing spot, which I'll show you in a minute. It's one of my favourite things to do. And then what I thought I'd do here was, I've got the train departs at 2 o'clock for the theatre, and the performance entrance ticket, and the performance starts at 8. So I've put that to one side. So all I've done is pierced it with my awl. I've got a little awl, and I've put a brad through to keep them together. And I thought they would go in this little envelope, like so. With this, sorry, but before I do that, what I did, I used my little guest check, or little, not a guest check, a check, stapled it on there, and then these can tuck behind it, like so. And then I thought I'd put another little flower with some tulle on there as well, maybe a white one, like so, just to keep the theme going. Just take the whiteness off there, just a quick, and then a bit of that going there. And pop that on there. And have I got a little so I'll let that dry a second. And then here, I got this out of my stash, a little piece of music. And obviously, you know, where I did the print on the back and it was the wrong side, it's white. So I want to hide that. So I've got some, of the scraps here. And, you know, like a scrap letter. And I'm going to do a tuck spot on this side, so I'm just going to run some glue along the edge there, and along the edge here too. Yeah. And then that'll just give me a little tuck spot. There we are. And then we can pop in their photo. Meet me at 7. So that's a little message card from him on that side. And then on this side, we've got, I'm not sure, a visitor's pass anyway. So that can go, whoops, on the back there. and this can slip in. Oops, a daisy. Now we just need something on the front here. Use these little scraps. Could probably put a little butterfly or something. Little butterfly on there. And a flower. Cut out lots of roses, but I don't mind if they poke over. I'll just see if there's anything else. There's a Paris one instead of that one. Yeah. So there we go. Let that dry. So we've got a little tuck spot there. And his Meet Me at 7 card, and they're going to a musical soiree. Now then, all we've got to do is this secret tuck spot now, and most of you will probably know how to do it, especially if you've been watching my channel, because I do include them quite a lot in my journals. So I'm going to do a cut across there, and I may as well just do it with my scissors actually. So we're going to cut across there, straightforward. I'm not going to ink because we want to keep it fairly secret. And then I got these, oh, I'll tell you what, I actually got that to go in it. So I'll find something else to go in the back of there. So where's the top? Make sure I've got the front, and because we've glued, all I've done is I've glued the back to the front, but only going round the edges. So I glued there, there, there and there, waited for them to dry, and then we open up the lid here. I've got no nails because they're still not recovered from painting them with that nail varnish. So I'm just going to make sure we've got room to slide this in. There we go. And then we want to make sure it's straight and that it'll fit in. Might have to take something off the front and the back. If not, we can use this tag. It's probably a better option because it's a lot slimmer. Yeah, I think we'll use the tag. So I'll pop that in there, take that out of there and pop that back in here. And then I'm just going to cut the top off there. Try and make it fairly straight. Not doing a very good job, but there we go. And then we'll pop this in here. Slide this inside. Might have to cut something. No, that's perfect. So what I'm going to do now is make sure I glue inside here. And in the back as well. So that's your little secret writing spot. And you just pull it out as such, like so. There we go. I'll just darken up the envelope a bit, make it look a bit more aged. And we've got a little thing there, and I'm just wondering if we can put a label and things on the front of there as well. We had that airmail. Just looking for things in my stash that might enhance it a little bit. There's absolutely hundreds of labels in here, but just finding the right one seems impossible. I want something that's not... Oh, there's chocolate on that one. I need to do some more number labels, I think. What's this one? Not sure about the airmail, unless we did something with a butterfly maybe. Have a look, see if I've got a smaller one. No, we don't want the airmail on. I quite like that though. Just takes the plainness, and this will give it a bit of added strength when you're pulling it out. There we go. Now I've got to make sure that we don't glue it down. There's my little paper opener. There we go. Make sure the back's free as well. And I'll just leave it out for a minute or two, just while it dries. And then I think that one. Let's have a look with it. Give it a bit of ink. Yeah. Little butterfly there. And I think that's us about done, apart from a little stamp. And I've just spotted those. I thought there was a little stamp in the kit. Let's have a look. Yeah, there is. Yeah, that'll do. I think we will pop that on. Unless I've got one that would match the colour. No. Yeah. I have got this little stamp, but I don't think I think it clashes with the orange butterfly, so I think I'm going to stick with that one and pop that one on. So we'll do that now. There we go. And ladies and gentlemen, I think that is our project finished. So we'll have a recap. Excuse my arm. Just move that out of the way. And we'll just have a look at the pieces that we've made. So I've not done anything with this one. I'm going to save that for another occasion. And we'll move all our lovely prints away. Now I could actually put that on the inside, couldn't we? Maybe that would be nice, yeah. Just to make use of some of the lovely photos. Yeah, I'll put that one. The number one is a bit like a prisoner's number. And I don't want him to look like a young offender. So there we go. Okay. Oops, a daisy. Now look what I've done. Quick, quick, quick. Let's turn those over. That's because the tag is the other way. Hang on. No, I've got to do it, but the stamps are actually upside down. Oops. Quick, 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 quick. Take this label off first. No, we have got another picture, so it might be that I can put this one over the top. So if we do that, like so. That's when you're not paying attention, see? There we go. And then this can go along the bottom. Let me just get my tweezers. There we are. There we are. So we'll put that in there. Okay, so move those out of the way and we'll have a look. So that's our hidden envelope. We've got our little tuck spot there with some tickets in the front and back. We've got our invoice with the check that paid for the whatever was on the invoice, and we've got our theatre tickets, performance ticket and the train ticket tucked away in there. We've got our envelope with our couple inside there as another memento when they went to a garden festival. And that's got the tag wrapped round it. And then we've got our main envelope with the lace, with the hotel where they stayed. That's the hotel receipt inside. There. And I'm going to pop this receipt in as well, because that's got the theatre tickets, etc., and the train ticket to get there, and the performance for the theatre. So we've got those there. This one can go on the front, and I'm just wondering if that will fit in the back here as well. If not, we can have it as like a little tuck spot at the front, or we could tuck it in the back there too if we wanted. There we go. And then all we need now is some lovely ribbon to bind them with. What have we got? Have a nice piece of organza to wrap round them. And tie them in a bow, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave them as is, because it'll depend on what colour is going to go on the front of the journal that these will be eventually going into. So everybody, I hope that you've enjoyed my little contribution, and I look forward to seeing you at the next one. So I'll say bye for now and take care. Bye now.